So in a previous video, I shared what I thought were the top 5 exercises for high intensity conditioning for jiu-jitsu. Now let's do low intensity. Here are the facts I think we need to consider when picking a mode or activity to perform low intensity cardio on. Firstly, is it low impact? If there's a way to stimulate working muscles and the cardiovascular system while limiting the wear and tear on the joints, that's a good deal in my opinion. Second, is it cyclical in nature? This is important for a couple of reasons. Firstly, most of the good adaptations that we're trying to create with low intensity work require the maintenance of fairly steady heart rates and levels of muscle lactate and muscle oxygenation. And that's very easy to do with cyclical activities and quite difficult to do with what's known as acyclical activities. Second, low intensity cardio means that you're going to have to do it for a long time, and psychologically it's much easier to switch off and pass the time with cyclical activities that don't require quite so much concentration. A third consideration, are we creating adaptations in the muscles and actions where fatigue is most going to be felt when grappling? The final consideration is things like versatility and accessibility. So in no particular order, here's the list. The first is trail running. The fact that roadwork style running or cardio is still around in pretty much every combat sport after several millennia should tell you something. It works. The problem is, actually running on the road can give your joints a bit of a beating, especially if you're on the heavier, older, or more injury-prone side. One of the best ways to mitigate this effect is to perform your road work on trails. The terrain is going to force you to slow down, which will bring the impact down, but it's still going to keep your heart rate up. Number 2 is the Echo bike, and for basically the same reasons why it's such a great piece of high-intensity equipment. It's very versatile, it's completely non-impact, you can wheel it outdoors when the weather is nice, and you're getting some decent stimulus into the upper body while still maintaining good overall demand for oxygen across the entire body. Third is bike rides. One piece of trivia that I find very interesting is that the resting heart rates are lower and the VO2 maxes are higher in elite level cyclists compared to runners. And I simply think the reason is because they do that much more training. Runners would break if they tried to match the hours that cyclists put in. So while it's not incredibly grappling specific, you can accumulate a ton of training volume and create some big changes in your cardiovascular system. Plus, it's completely non-impact, so it's one for the Chub Club. Number 4 is swimming. Strong emphasis on the lats and shoulders, which we need for grappling. But what I also like about swimming is the breath control. As I'm sure you know from BJJ, there's a reciprocal relationship between breathing and fatigue. The more labored and panicky your breathing becomes, the more tired you get, and vice versa. So swimming not only conditions you, but it forces you to control your breathing and get used to those sensations of air hunger, which is valuable in my opinion. Number 5 is bands. Several 100 million Russians and Central Asians can't all be wrong. With intelligent exercise selection, you're creating adaptations in the exact muscles and movements that you're going to be taxing on the mat. That's my list. What's on yours?